Good morning. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Hi. We'll just wait a couple minutes to get started.
Good morning.
Mm.
Hello? Okay.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Good morning.
Hello.
What is this? Your internet connection is unstable. Oh, that's great. What?
You'll get to see how it works when and you're doing this, I'm doing Google
Yeah,
Meet.
well,
So you
now
just-
it's, oh, well. I need. Everybody's joining right now, but I don't know how to say I'm here.
You're here. We can hear you.
Okay, you can't see me though, right?
I have a lot of participants, so I can't see everyone at the same time anyway.
No, good. I don't want to be seen. My hair is wet.
Oh, well, I can't see anyone really. So you don't have to worry.
Okay, I might have a problem with the meeting because my husband is also home doing interactive learning, so I hope our internet doesn't go down. And there's going to be a storm where I am, so, and our goes out, so.
I hope
just-
you are well. Okay, if
Yeah.
you have to leave, no problem. You can also rejoin. The link is open, so if you get kicked off and you
Okay,
want to rejoin, feel free to do so.
okay, good, because this should be interesting.
Yeah. All right, it is 9 o'clock, so I will get started. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It's a full house. We have 30 participants. If you could be mindful of your mute buttons. I know we're all at home and there might be things that come up. So if you have to take a conversation or address a child or a pet, if you could just hit mute. If you're not sure how to do that, please let me know in the chat and I can do a quick tutorial.
Hold up. Okay.
So it's pretty much the toolbar in Zoom will pop up on the top or the bottom of your screen. It is black, and you have a couple of controls that you can use, including mute, start video. You can see participants, and if you hit more, you can see our chat. I'm going to leave the chat box open on my screen, so if you need to holler via chat, feel free. You can also interrupt me on the audio. Happy to respond to that, but usually the chat, I can see exactly who you are if you're chatting to me, whereas because there are so many participants, it will be difficult for me, since I don't know your voices, to figure out who is speaking if you're speaking
Dave, I can't hear.
directly. Okay,
You-
so you should be seeing my first slide here. Just the title slide, planning and organizing your digital classroom. Please let me know if that is not what you are seeing.
I see it.
I see.
Beautiful.
I see it.
Okay,
Yeah, I can see it.
awesome. All right, great. So welcome. I am understanding that most of you are high school teachers, but this is definitely open to any grade level. I'm going to talk pretty broadly about planning and organizing the digital space. And this presentation is meant for a wide variety of skill levels, skewing towards more entry level. So if you are just beginning your virtual journey, this is perfect for you. Great. I see grade school teachers are here. This will absolutely be relevant to you too. If
Okay.
you're a little more advanced, you might find this a little too basic for you. So feel free to hang out. And I will be linking several resources that also could be helpful. But just, if you want to multitask, feel free if this feels too basic for you at this point. I'm Olga. I'm an Educate coach. I was a teacher in Denver, Colorado for 5 years, and I've been doing instructional coaching for 4 years here in New York City. I also am a graduate student, and I work with multiple schools and educational organizations around New York City. And that's just a little bit about me. Great. I see middle school, elementary, middle school special ed. Great. This is definitely going to be relevant to all grade levels and subject areas. Yeah, I was an elementary school teacher. That's where my heart is. 5th grade. Whoop whoop. Upper intermediate grades. Shout out. But everyone is welcome, obviously. So we're going to get started. And I'll ask that, like I said, if you need to interrupt me with questions, feel free. I have my chat box open. You can chat, you can interrupt verbally, and especially if there are technical issues that are preventing you from engaging, please let me know, because I definitely want to be able to help you with that. So without further ado, welcome to Planning and Organizing Your Digital Classroom in a Currently Disorganized World. I certainly am feeling the anxieties of the last just a week. I mean, a week ago, we didn't know we were going to be in this position. So just know that I have a ton of empathy for everyone right now. And if you need anything from me during this time or after, I will be providing my email as well. So let's dive in. I work for Educate. We are an instructional technology coaching company, but we put pedagogy first. So everything that we do that incorporates technology is in the service of good teaching. And we believe in empowering educators to innovate instruction. That is our main goal. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to think about planning for the big picture, which I know based on the teachers that I'm working with one-on-one, we have not had a lot of time to do. So this is a lot of, moving back and forth between the big picture and the nitty gritty. We're going to start big. We're going to move into planning for instruction. We're going to talk about organizing your Google Classroom as the most ubiquitous tool that people are using for their learning management systems. If you use a different one like Schoology or ClassDojo, those aren't going to be addressed in this presentation, but you can feel free to follow up with me if you have specific questions on those. A lot of these are pretty similar in the capabilities and what they can do. So a lot of what I'm talking about should be relevant, but there are some Google Classroom specific things. You're going to get a chance to organize your Google Classroom and do some planning. And then if people have time and interest, I'm happy to do a tutorial on getting to know Google Drive, because I have experience with some teachers who aren't exactly sure or comfortable how to navigate the Google Drive, and it's going to be your best friend during this virtual learning space. So happy to give a short tutorial on that as well. And then we'll take a minute or two to reflect before closing out. So on your screen, actually, I'm going to put this in the chat. There's a HyperDoc that I'm clicking on here. And this is going to, I'm going to ask you all to follow along on this doc throughout the whole presentation. So I'm going to share the link to this in our chat. You can open it up on your computer screen and link to all of the resources and documents that I'm going to be showing you throughout the course of the presentation. Great. So I see a lot of folks hopping on right away. Let me know if you have.
How do you do that?
Yeah. So if you just, do you have the chat open, the Zoom chat open?
No.
Okay.
No. The orange button on the bottom.
Yeah. So if there's a black toolbar that pops up, you have to go through the more. So there's 3 dots on the right side that say more, and then open the chat.
All right, no, I don't see that. My things are on the bottom. It says mute, start video, invite participants, share screen, chat, record, and reflect and reactions.
Chat. Did you say the word chat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Open up the chat.
Okay, now it says Zoom group chat.
Beautiful.
And then there's a link. Should I click on that link?
Yeah, that's the link.
I gotta hear her.
Okay, got it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hello.
All right, and all that came up was that first screen where it says planning and organizing your digital classroom, HyperDoc.
That's it. That's the one.
Oh, okay. I had it on originally. That's strange. It took me out and in. All right, whatever.
Okay. Great. Well, I'm glad you got it now. So that is I'm going to be referring to a bunch of links, and you can get to all of them through that HyperDoc. So a HyperDoc is a tool that you can use in your classrooms, another way that you can organize actually and plan and organize. So when I planned this presentation, I made several, like I said, resource docs and things that you're going to be able to actually interact with on your own. And then I compiled them all into this one home-based HyperDoc. And that way, when I'm showing you things on the screen, you can be following along and interacting on your own. Some of these are going to be on the shared one. So you can see we're all on this same planning and organizing HyperDoc that is only viewable by you. So you can't change this HyperDoc, but there are going to be other links as we go along that I've set it to automatically make a copy for you. So you're going to get your very own that's going to make a copy. It's going to live in your own drive and you're going to be the owner of, so you can change, revise, edit, do all of that on your own. So these are a couple of tools just right off the bat that you can start thinking about when you're doing instruction, especially if you're going to be giving videos or doing any live instruction, any synchronous, so a real-time virtual instruction that you can use HyperDocs to your advantage. Pardon me. So let's start with the big picture. One of the things that you may or may not have had time to do yet, but I want to give you a little bit of time to think about and refine, bless you, is setting your own instructional expectations. So this might be school-wide. You might have a school leader who has already guided you through this process, and you might not have had the time to do this yet. What I find really helpful about it is just getting a handle on what is this going to look like for the next few weeks or foreseeable future, depending on who knows, being really real. So if you think about these questions, these types of questions might help you organize your time. So I'm going to ask these questions, but then I'm going to give you a chance to answer them on your own on one of these HyperDocs. So for each subject or section, so if you're an elementary school teacher, you're thinking for each subject area. If you're a high school teacher who teaches multiple sections of the same content area for each section, how many assignments will I create per week? And this might sound basic, but I've had teachers who are trying to run around creating a new assignment every day. That might not be necessary. You might want to be strategic about, I'm only going to assign 3 things per week. I'm only going to assign 2 things per week, 1, depending on the size, right? So thinking, okay, what is realistic for me, for my students, for grading purposes, for participation? How many assignments do I want to create? And then to that end, especially with our younger learners, but certainly across the spectrum, what is the blend of online and offline assignments that I aim to achieve, right? So just because we're in a virtual space doesn't mean that everything the kids do needs to be online. We might want them to be engaging in some tangible activities that they can do at home or I was going to say in the park, but our parks are closed. So in the front stoop, are there, what do we want to set a goal of? Do we want to be assigning activities that are in the home, recipe making, just as an example, interviews with loved ones? What are the offline assignments that we want to incorporate into our instruction as we're thinking about the virtual space? Okay, can't see your full screen. The words are cut off on the right side. Okay, is anyone else having trouble seeing my whole screen? Because if it's everyone, then it's a me problem. No. Okay, so to the person who messaged me, check out your visual, check out your resolution. Also try minimizing and then re-maximizing the window. Maybe that will help to see everything on the screen. And if worse comes to worse and you can't see everything, that's actually okay, because on the HyperDoc, I've repeated all of these questions in a different document, so you won't miss out. Okay, sorry for that. So thinking about the blend of online and offline. All right. This goes along with it. So how many assignments will I create? How often will I post my assignments? So you might consider, yeah, there's a button. Thank you, Veronica. There's a button if you scroll towards the top, it says view options. You can change it to fit screen. Oh, beautiful.
A quick question, Olga. The
Yes,
screen
please.
I'm seeing just says, from the slideshow, it says setting instructional expectations, sample schedule 2. Is that what I'm looking at, or am I on the wrong screen?
Oh, so that is the HyperDoc. If you could click back to the presentation, which might be in a different window for you, or it might be a different tab, depending on how you.
Oh,
opened it.
Lord, that's a problem because I'm not a computer person.
Okay, so a window means you can drag and drop the whole thing around your screen. That's okay. I get
You
it.
know, I don't even know how to do that. I am not a technology person, and this is going to be very stressful.
Okay, so you know what? Here's what you can do. Since you're on that HyperDoc,
Yeah.
click when it says, where it says from the slideshow, that first bullet, setting instructional expectations.
It won't let me click it. Yeah, it won't let me click it. It's highlighted like it's blue and it should click, but it won't let me do it. And I even tried going back on my computer, like, I use the back arrow, but that didn't work either. So.
Do you have a Mac computer? Do you have a Mac computer?
No, I have a Microsoft Surface.
Okay, because on my Mac, I have to press Option and then it opens it.
Yeah, can you right click it?
Right click. Wait, I can do that. Hold on.
And then have it open?
No, it's not doing anything on my right click. Nothing's working on my computer. This should be good.
Okay, how about in the group chat, I just sent the link to that document again.
All right, let me see.
So
I got it. Wait. Got it. Oh, now I clicked on that. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, I'm on there. Okay, answering the following questions. Got it. All right.
Beautiful.
Got it.
Okay, great. And those questions for everyone. So if you're on the HyperDoc, that first bullet point that says setting instructional expectations is the, I've prompted you to make a copy. And so these questions are going to be outlined in a document that you can actually fill in on your end. So I'm just going through these as a preview, and then you'll be answering them to the extent that they are helpful for you on your very own document. So thinking about how often you're going to post, what days and what times. For high schoolers, you might want to post 1 or 2 days a week, and that's enough because you're giving them chunky assignments that they're going to work on over the course of 2 or 3 days perhaps. For elementary kids, you might want to be posting every morning to give them that sense of routine and structure, and you're giving them maybe smaller assignments that they can complete throughout the course of a day. Making that decision for yourself and your students can also help build that routine. Now, we are all thrown into this lack of routine when we're used to such structure as teachers and as students. So thinking about how we can create that to the best of our ability will be helpful all around. How often will I provide feedback for my students? Just like every single thing that kids do in a class, we don't necessarily grade And a lot of time we're giving informal, right, verbal feedback so much. We have to think about what that's going to translate in the virtual space. We can't be, okay, it's not going to open, request to open. Oh, goodness. All right, let me fix those settings on my end. I thought I had put everyone to share, but apparently I did not. So I do apologize. Let me fix those settings before I continue with the presentation, because I do want everyone to be able to follow along. Oh goodness, my apologies. All right, I'm going to fix those settings. Sorry about that. And this is great real time. If you're making HyperDocs and using them, oh, yep, I had it on the wrong setting. If you're using HyperDocs with your children, learn from me. Make sure to change those sharing settings. Okay, if you could try to click it again. You'll have to click again because I just changed the settings for the link, and it should work for everyone who has the link. Okay, I'm getting some positive feedback. Great, it's working. Okay, my apologies. This is,
It happens.
yeah, yeah, this is the virtual space. Yep. Okay. And what I did there is when I shared, I made it that anyone with the link can access it. And another thing that I did for making the copy is when I go to actually share the link. Yeah. Yes, I can definitely share it again. And what I do is I paste the, oops, I don't want that one. Hold on. I paste the link, but at the end of it, instead of saying edit, I go back and replace the word edit that's at the end of the link with the word copy. And what that does is it makes it so that when anyone opens that link, they automatically are prompted to make their own copy. And that way you don't have people changing or modifying your own master.
Now, the master, you say, is you're going to show us how to make the master, or it's already there?
So I've made the master of the planning and organizing. I can do, once the main part of this is over, instead of Google Drive, I can show you how to make HyperDocs really quick. Happy to.
Oh, no, which is easier? If it's in my Google Drive, that's fine, or the other one, which one would you suggest? If for somebody who's not a computer.
So I have both of them. I'm using different docs, different types for different purposes. So the master one, you don't have to do any writing on. And so that's open as your home base. We're going to use that. We're going to keep going back to that one. The one that you're making a copy of that says setting instructional expectations, that's more like a worksheet. So you're making a copy so that you can work on it on your own. Bless you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, and then the bottom of the chat, I resent that. So I'm going to call that a worksheet. I think that's maybe the easiest way, because a worksheet, you're going to be writing on and doing your own thing.
Right. That makes sense. Okay.
All right, cool. So how often am I going to provide feedback? Setting particular days for yourself might be helpful. And then some folks, and I know this varies by school and even school type, but how often, if at all, depending on your school, will I engage in real time or synchronous class time with my students, or office hours? And those can look different, right? So you might deliver instruction during a synchronous class time, or you might say, you know what, students, every day from 2 to 4, you can sign up for office hours for me, and we can talk about where your progress are or your questions on your particular assignments. So these questions are addressed if you are not yet in the setting instructional expectations worksheet, go ahead and navigate there, and I'm going to put it on my screen.
Oh, you want us to click? Oh, okay. Oh, no, this is the one we can write on ourselves?
Correct. So I'm hoping that you can see on my screen, I just went over the presentation slide, and I'm showing you the doc. Okay, wonderful.
Yep, exactly. Yep,
So-
I got it.
this is just a space for you too, right? And so you can see that no one else is on my document because I prompted you to make a copy. The way I did that was when I copied it, I went to this toolbar up top. See how it says the word edit at the end?
No.
If you look at my screen, and I'm highlighting the word edit at the end of that link. And instead of edit, I wrote the word copy, and then I pasted it into your feeds. And that's what prompts you. That's a little like Google trick that helps. So anyway, that's how if you want to create worksheets for your students in that way, you could do that. And then you could take some time to answer these questions. And also, there are examples towards the bottom. And this worksheet was adapted from a company that we partner with called Link Learning. So shout out to Link Learning. But so you could answer these questions, and you could think about some examples. So in high schools, you could think, all right, if I'm a math teacher, I want to give 3 assignments per week. Again, this is totally just an example. Whatever is going to work for you is what you should do. But then sort of parsing out, all right, when am I going to post them? How often am I going to give feedback? Am I going to have office hours? And this is a school-wide view, but you can personalize this for a teacher view. Same thing now for elementary schools. If you're an elementary teacher and you're navigating teaching multiple subjects. Oh, so the high school teachers, you could personalize this by, instead of doing department, you could change this to section, right? And how often am I going to do this for section 1, section 2, section 3, whatever it is. Upper elementary, you're going to most likely separate this by subject area. And again, you might not want or need or be capable of posting more than 2 or 3 assignments per week. And so scheduling that out for yourself. And the younger students, what I like about how they parsed this out as the example is they are really being strategic about the offline versus the online. You can also think about this, of course, across the board. So upper elementary, middle school, and high school, what is your balance of offline and online going to be? And these are also, if you are using these templates to create your own. So again, you have your own copy. Feel free to change, modify, edit all of these. And then this is something that you could send to kids and parents to orient them to what your weeks are going to be looking like. So that's thinking about planning for the big picture. In the interest of moving through the material, I actually would like us to not fill this out yet because I want to get through a couple other things that I wanted to show, and then we'll have time at the end. And of course, this is now your document because you've copied it, so you can fill this out.
Me.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry.
Before I move on.
I just have a quick question. I
Yeah.
apologize.
No, don't.
Well, I'm looking at your screen and I'm watching the prompt follow along. But how do we go about, you probably said it before, how do you go about this?
Go about, say it again.
This whole screen, everything that you're, the whole, everything, how do you go about copying this? Do you have a,
So the link in the chat, have you gotten to the link in the chat?
let's see. Well, there's some gigantic link, yeah.
Yes. Okay. If you click that, a new screen should pop up. A new window should pop up.
Right, I see that. Okay.
It says make a copy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did that. So you're basically using this then. Okay.
Yeah. So the one that I sent the link for makes your very own copy. So I'm not going to see it. You own it. You can change it as you see fit.
Okay, got it.
You made us, can I interrupt, Olga? You made us a copy, you individually made a copy for everyone that's in the chat? I mean, in the group?
So actually Google made it for me. So when
Google got it. That was that trick we were saying. That was the trick we were saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
Google.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's exactly how. Oh,
Can I address some concerns I have?
please do.
Hi, I'm Miss Brennan. I teach second grade at Icon Charter School 5.
Hi, Ms. Brennan.
I currently only have 6 students on board for Google Classroom right now. I'm trying to get other parents to set up computers. There's been a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, we have our Lavinia Group math consultants who are setting up a weekly plan for us for math.
Great.
So there's going to be expectations set for that.
Awesome.
I'm just wondering, like, as a requirement before we left school, I basically sent out a 150-page packet for
Yeah.
each kid.
Yeah.
Correct. So did I. So did I.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
I don't know if this online work should be supplemental or if they should take photographs of their packet work and send it to me. Like, what would be
Okay.
most ideal?
Great. So you're going to have a lot of options. What's going to be most ideal is going to be up to you. But the 2 options that you just named are definitely ones that I was going to suggest. And I can show you actually right now when we move into the Google Classroom piece, how kids could take a picture. And actually, I'm going to put some links in the chat as well, because I was working with some other teachers. You can have parents take a picture of their kids' work from their
Okay.
phone and attach it directly to Google Classroom. Now, they do have to get on Google Classroom to do that. They could also email you directly. That might be easier if they already know how to do that. But in terms of your organization, putting in as much, and this is across the board that teachers are struggling with, and their
Right.
parents don't get onto Google Classroom, what do we do?
Yeah.
And I truly wish that I had a magic bullet. And I don't, other than we got to hold hands.
We just work with what we have, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I have had some success with teachers when they send, multiple text messages or get on the phone with them to walk through it. I know it's a ton to ask and it's a ton of work. So I hate saying that that's what you have to do. And I by no means want to say that, but once they're on, everybody's life is just way simpler. So if at all possible to handhold them through that process, I do think the investment's going to be worth it, especially depending on how long this is all going to last. So that's what I would say. But yeah, I think doing the packets and if they're younger and parents are able to support them with sense making and math and corrections on reading and writing, then that's great. But also, you are going to want to see how they're doing. And so having parents be able to take photos and upload them to Google Classroom or email them to you. There's also ways that you can convert your whatever packets you gave, create them in this virtual space. So making an assignment and making it a Word document and saying, you know what, this week, instead of doing it on paper, I want you to type your answers in to this document, and then you can see them, right? So it's going to be a lot of trial and error, especially for the younger kids. What's feasible? What is even quality? Like if they're too young to type something in, then you're not getting a true sense of their understanding. So, you're going to be able to navigate that best in terms of what's best for your students. But those are definitely some options, and I'm going to show you how to do those things. My
biggest concern too is like, how many accounts should I post for them? Like right now they're already having login issues with Google Classroom. So if I'm going to set up a Khan Academy account or a Zurn math account, and then, other websites that require logins, it might just be overload. So
totally.
I'm just trying to do one step at a time.
Yeah. So I would say that's a great point. And I would prioritize Google Classroom first. And the reason is it can be their hub for everything else. And I'm going to write down for myself to send out to you all later. So many of these websites allow sign-on through Google. And so you don't necessarily, and I have to check if Khan Academy is one of them. I'm not sure if they are, but once they have a Google account, you can link to it through Google Classroom, and then they can choose the sign-on with Google option. And it's not actually an extra sign-on then, because they just use that same information. So I'm going to compile a list of sites for which that's the case. It's certainly not all of them, but there are lots.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah, Google sign-on. So, and that's also why if you get them on Google Classroom, it can be the door to so many other sites like that. Because you're right. I mean, even us, gosh, just yesterday I was had to click forget password, don't know what this account is. So trying to streamline it as much as possible. Okay, so I am going to pause and I will take more questions on this planning towards the end of the presentation, but I do want to move to a little bit more of the, okay. So let's think about planning for instruction. And we started to get into this just now. All right, so thinking about scheduling. As we were saying, we have come from this hyper-scheduled classroom life to home, which I know as an adult is challenging to manage my time at home. So we can only imagine for our learners that that's a challenge. So just like students follow a schedule at school, they will benefit from following a schedule at home, and it'll support their learning and their mental health. And again, I'm just speaking from my own experience and my experience with adults and as a graduate student having to navigate, and I'm sure a lot of you as well have done this juggle of time management. So the more we can do that for our students, the better they will fare. There are some sample schedules in that HyperDoc again that you can use to think about sending home to students and parents to schedule their days and their weeks. And I recommend, and I think people are going to find this, some people are going to find it useful, some aren't. What I would do is have a one doc, maybe the HyperDoc, that I create each day or each week that has everything on it that can be their home base as they're navigating multiple resources. And so I'm going to show you what those things look like. So here's and Khan Academy just sent one out also that I'm going to add. Actually, we're going to open the Khan Academy one first. So I'm going to add a doc in real time. This is really fun. I'm going to add a sample schedule to this HyperDoc and show you what this looks like. So,
do we have this?
So this is the first HyperDoc that you all were on. And you got to the setting instructional expectations from there. And I'm going to add another sample schedule. So I write what I want to call it. And this one's from Khan Academy. This is all grades.
Okay, got it.
Oh, you're typing right on the HyperDoc,
Okay,
right?
yep.
Yes, I am. Yep, because I'm going to show you the magic in real time. So now I highlight it, and I want to make this a hyperlink. The way I do that is through this hyperlink button, insert link.
Where, under what menu?
At the top, next to where I would change the font, I say insert link.
Oh.
And now I'm going to paste. So actually, I'll show you my whole screen here. I went to this, Khan Academy sent out these sample schedules, which we're going to look at. But to be able for you to navigate that, I said, all right, I'm going to open it. I'm going to copy their link. So I did Control C, but you could do, right click copy. I did insert link. And now I'm going to paste it, apply. And now on your master, you can click sample schedule and then open that doc, and you'll see this screen from Khan Academy that gives us some sample schedules. So that's how you can make it on your own HyperDoc. If you were going to make a schedule, and they've done that, you can see all of the blue links here. They've made those hyperlinks. This is their HyperDoc that we're on.
And that's what the children would follow. It's like their schedule. Is that for them, for us, or for both?
I
It's
think
for
it
them.
could be for both, right? I mean, this is student facing. So you would say, and what I like about this is they give the times, what they're going to do, and then they have all of the links in there. And you probably wouldn't have so many options, but you might, right? So you might also not have as many, as much narrative. You might just say, do this first, do this second, do this third. Or here are your must do's, here are your may do's if you use choice menus in your classrooms. Right? So these are all examples of schedules that you can use. And I highly recommend having them as a HyperDoc, not only because you can control the content so easily, but also because as we're going to see, I hear a chopping noise. Yes, whoever is has chopping in the background, if you could push mute.
I can't find the HyperDoc.
Okay, so I can put the link in the chat again because it was earlier on the slide. So instead of navigating back, I'm just going to put.
Oh, I have the HyperDoc on my screen. It's on my screen. I have like two
No,
different.
the one to download.
Oh,
So I don't have you downloading the HyperDoc. I just have you on it. But what you could do is go to File and make a copy on your screen, and that'll make a brand new copy for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And that way, and you can always do that. If you have a view only doc, you can generally make a copy of it. And that way, oh, I just gave somebody edit access, I think. Please don't edit my HyperDoc.
wait, I'm not touching anything. I'm not touching.
I didn't do anything. I just made a copy.
No, yeah, nobody has done anything yet.
I'm not touching anything.
Okay, wonderful. So these are examples of schedules. I have 3 samples here, all from different places. There are lots of companies, including Khan Academy, that are putting out these resources. And frankly, sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming. So it's really just going to be a matter of find a thing that you like and go with it, and then decide later if it's, how it's working, tweak it, because there's no way you're going to be able to cull all of the things that are out there and come up with the most perfect, most wonderful. Take something that looks good to you, try it out for a week or 2, and then go ahead and tweak as necessary. So you're going to see a couple of different examples. This distance learning one that I've opened on my screen. Oh, I made the make a copy, so it's going to ask you to make a copy of it. I'm not going to make another one for me. I'm going to just open it from my own drive.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Ask a
please.
question?
Yes.
Are you providing us the most easiest, simplest, quickest way we can just set this up? These specific links and these.
That's the goal.
Okay, because yeah, I'm sorry, it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah. Okay. So
A little.
Yeah. So
A lot.
my goal here was to give you lots of options to not be didactic. So what I could do, if this feels overwhelming, is say, if you are an elementary school teacher, go with Khan Academy's schedule number 1. Right? Like I could say, do that. Like that is the thing. So you could have this schedule, copy paste it into a document, and input your own. So 9 to 9:30, we're going to do math. This is what math is going to look like. 10 to 10:30, we're going to do reading. Here's what you're going to read.
And this is the one, Olga, you said that we can change each day or each week, right? Was that the one?
Yeah, and it's up to you how often you want to do that, right? So one of the samples, this one I believe, has a whole week at a time. That might feel like too much to plan right now. You might not be able to plan all of these things for an entire week. So you might want to just start with a day. All right. You might not want to do this whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why, the Khan Academy one is just one day at a time. That's how you can do it. And also, when you're thinking about setting instructional expectations, I really do recommend, and like I said, we're moving ahead without doing all the pieces in order because I just want to show you everything. But I would actually spend the most time here first, thinking, all right, I'm going to make 3 assignments per week. What days am I going to do it? What days am I going to give feedback? You might not even think about office hours yet. You might just think, what are my 3 assignments going to be? What days of the week am I going to post them? And that can get you started with, all right, so I need 3 math assignments. What are my objectives? What do I want to look for? And that's when you can move into a daily schedule.
Okay.
Now, if you have a learning coach who is telling you, like the math coach is telling you, this is the scope and sequence for this virtual, then definitely use that. Definitely don't feel like you need to, reinvent the wheel. But a lot of folks, unfortunately, just don't have that as an option, and so we're making it up as we go along. And you can use what planning you've done in the past, right? All we have to do is translate. So if you knew that this week you were going to do geometry, think about, all right, what are my 3 geometry assignments for this week? And when am I going to post them? How am I going to post them? Okay. So the other thing is, this webinar is, again, like, to get you started. It's definitely, we're not leaving here with our week-long plans. Unfortunately, an hour is just not enough time. But I'm going to give you information. The hyperlink is not, Schedule 3 is not working. Let's see, did I botch it? No, it should work. If you right-click and open it, I can also repaste it into the chat, just so that you can get a sense of what that looks like. I'm going to give information for how you can sign up for an Educate coach to do this work one-on-one with you. So for those of us for whom this is feeling overwhelming, which I absolutely understand, I and all the coaches at Educate work one-on-one with teachers. Great, I'm glad that worked. To do this small step by small step. I'm giving you way too much. Hopefully the idea is to give you a bunch of tools that you can then go in and dig into. And again, we can do this one-on-one with an Educate coach. So I'm going to move forward. I know that we haven't done the planning, and I know that there's a lot out there, but I do want to get to Google Classroom because that's just going to be another huge part of your organization. So if you could write in the chat either a yes or a no. Yes, I use Google Classroom or want to. No, I don't use Google Classroom because I either use something different or I hate it and I'm never going to use it. All right, lots of yeses. Great. And so I'm using this straw poll to make sure that what I am, okay, great. We're going to do the basics. No, but I need to know. Excellent. Can't use, can't use Class Dojo. That's too bad. Class Dojo is lovely. Google Classroom is a little bit easier to navigate. So, okay, wonderful. Great. So there are enough folks in here that I'm going to move forward with showing you how to use Google Classroom. Okay, so we're going to start. Great. Started signing kids up yesterday. That's awesome to hear. All right, so I'm going to show you my Google Classroom once I find it, because I have a million things open, as you can imagine. Here we go. I'm going to show you my Google Classroom. And here we go. So there's 3 tips that I want to hammer home. Ooh, my students came. I invited other Educate coaches to be my my fake students in my classroom so that I could show you some stuff. So that's lovely. So there's 3 major tips that I want to hit home with you, and I'm going to show you them after I present them. So 1, naming your courses or your subject areas appropriately is going to help you navigate, especially if you're an upper grade, a middle school or high school teacher who has different sections. We're going to name those.
Office hours. Okay.
I'm going to show you how to use topics to your advantage, because the one downfall of Google Classroom is that it's not intuitively organized. You have to do some legwork to organize it for yourself and your students. So I'm going to show you what that means to use topics. Actually, I'm just going to show you before I go to the slide. All right, so here's my Google Classroom. I only have 1 class so far, but if I wanted to create another class, so this is my Organizing Digital Classroom class. This might be Math Period 1. But if I want to create a class, I use this plus sign on the right-hand side, and I create. I'm going to call. Sorry, did you have a question? No, okay, great. So I'm going to call this Organizing Section 2, because I'm going to have another one of these in a few minutes. And we have 15 minutes, so I'm going to speed through this to respect your time. This is section 2, so I'm going to call it section 2, and it's organizing and planning. You don't have to enter all this information. You only need the class name, and then you create. So this is when you go into your Google Classroom, you want to name your classes appropriately so that you and your students can navigate easily. And also your students are possibly going to have different classes that they're a part of. So you want them to know intuitively how to get to these. To navigate between your different classrooms, you go to the top left, these 3 lines, and that's where you can see both of your classes or all of your classes. And you can also go back to your home screen by clicking classes. So I'm going to go to my main Organizing the Digital Classroom. When you go to Organizing Digital Classroom, you have a class code. That class code is what you send to your kids to log in from their Google accounts. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because we're thinking about organizing. But again, if you want to follow up with me, I can talk to you more about how to get your kids signed in. This is your stream. The stream is not organized. It is just like, let's say, Facebook, or that it just, whatever the most recent thing is, pops up at the top.
That you posted. You mean that we posted?
Correct. Whatever
Okay.
the most recent thing you posted comes to the top. It is the least organized part of this whole process. That is why I spent time on the HyperDoc idea and the schedule idea in the beginning of the session, because if I were doing this, I would post a new HyperDoc every day so that they could just go to the HyperDoc, or every week, depending on how often you wanted to do it, so that they could go to that and navigate from there. Because every assignment that you're going to post is going to show up, but it's not necessarily going to be in order of how they do them. It's going to be in order of how you posted it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I would say something like, you know what? I suggest putting your schedule, whatever the schedule is going to be, on here so that they can navigate to it, and then doing that, right, like every day at the same time, so that they know, all right, I'm going to go on at 8 a.m. and I know Miss Brennan is going to have posted my daily schedule. So we would post today's schedule, or this week's, however you're going to do it. I want to add a link, and here's my link. This is just the planning and organizing HyperDoc, and I could schedule it to post at a different time, or I could post it. Oops, I didn't want to do that.
So you're creating the HyperDoc and then you're posting it to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Olga, hi, my
Yeah.
name is Karen.
I can.
So you're suggesting for us to have our own classroom, but then create another classroom just for like planning and organizing, so the kids could go in and see their scheduling.
No, this is the same. This is one and the same. So your classroom that they have. Yeah. Sorry that was confusing. I named it this because this is the session, the title of the session. But this would be the one that students see. Yep, just one.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I mean, I like the organization to give them another one to be like, hey, this is going to be your planning and this is where you're going to post, but both your ideas are great. Thank you.
Sure, and absolutely. Anything that you want to adapt, of course, like you'll know what's going to work best for you and your students. And so I just got a question, a way to pin the HyperDoc to the top of their screens. I'm going to show you how to do that actually. So it won't be able to pin in the stream, but your bread and butter is going to be your classwork section. And this is where you can do the most organization. So here I've created 3 topics. I'm going to show you how to create a topic. The way that you could pin your HyperDocs is to create a topic and then always put them into that topic. So I'm going to create topic, and I'm going to call it daily schedules or HyperDocs.
Yeah, and I feel like on some days we can post a daily schedule. Not every day though. I think that would be unnecessary.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
however,
think so
whatever is
too,
going to
yeah.
work for you all. So there it goes. It pops up there. And now that I have this, I can create an assignment, a quiz, a question, material, which is reference materials. That's actually what I would do for these HyperDocs. So I'm going to do that right now. This is March 20th HyperDoc or schedule, however you're going to call it for your students. And I could put a description. I don't have to. And here I'm going to add that link. And importantly, I'm going to choose the topic daily schedules. So now when I post it, it's going to show up underneath the topic of daily schedule. So they don't have to parse through. Sorry.
How did you make those subjects again?
Okay, so I go to create. When I'm in classwork, I go to create and I go to topic.
Oh, and then you created the different topics, and then under each topic you're posting.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And
That's-
if you make an assignment, for example, and whatever, assignment 1, and you forget, so I've assigned it, but you forget to assign it to a topic, it shows up at the top, so it's kind of like miscellaneous, but you can
Amazing.
click it and drag it underneath the topic you want it to be under. So if I meant to put assignment 1 in ELA, I could click it, drag it to ELA, and there it goes.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Please do.
So let's say we have a different teacher for social studies and I add her to my Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Can I, under the same topic, put social studies and she's able to add to it?
Yeah,
If you
you'll
make
need
her a
to
co-teacher.
say it again. Go ahead.
If you make her a co-teacher, then she should easily be able to do that.
Yeah, so you'll both have access as teachers to the classroom. Oops, I went out. And I
thank
can
you.
show people how to do that later on.
So any friends that you add, they have access to your classroom and can edit and comment as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Great. Yes, I'm going to finish through the presentation and then I'll talk about adding co-teachers. And if we don't have time, I can always send out a video. I'll send out a screencast to you all showing how to do it. Okay. So that's adding topics. That's some organization. I would direct parents and students to really live in this classwork space, because it is the most organized. Again, this is going to be personal preference. You might love the stream. It might work beautifully for you. But you can even create a topic that's announcements, right? And then, because typically you would have announcements show up in the screen, but if you want a place where they can see daily or weekly announcements, you can create topics really flexibly that way. So that is organizing by topics. And my suggestions were, okay, you could do it by unit, you could do it by subject area, or even by type. And my little pro tip, you can move topics around by using grab and drop. I guess the word is drag and drop, but grab and drop is how I think about it. All right, and finally, being strategic about what you create. And I just talked through that a little bit, but if I want to use a reference material, I'm going to use that material button. If I just want a quick response from students, you can use a question, and you can allow or disallow students to comment on each other. So if I want to start a virtual discussion, I can just do that using a question. The regular assignments, routine or writing responses, routine writing or responses that you want them to complete, using the assignment function is another way that you can have students, you can have Google create individual documents for students that they then complete their work on, and you can grade it. Again, that's more advanced, and we'll definitely do another session on that, and respond to requests. And then a quiz automatically creates a Google form, which if you're using multiple choice responses will actually grade for you. So these are just the different options that you can play around with. I might recommend if you're new to Google Classroom, to make it like a fake one and assign a friend or another teacher or someone as your student, so you can see both sides, and you're not overwhelming the student feed with things that you're trying out. And then lastly, we've talked about these, but think about posting a daily or a weekly schedule at the same time each day. Label your documents will it still grade it for you if it's added as a hyperdoc? Yeah, so if you add a form, the form gets graded itself, and you'll have to navigate Google Drive to do some editing in there. I don't think we're gonna have time to go into Google Drive now, but we have lots of things that you can request from us through your very own Educate Coach. Yeah, okay, great. Labeling your postings, I mean, you know, it's just going to be so overwhelmed with postings and documents that being really strategic about your labeling is going to be super important. And then another tip, as we were just saying, maybe make a schedules topic in your classwork section. All right. These are just some tips on how to make your digital assignments, but I'm going to skip over it. We only have 3 minutes. So let's take a breath. This is as much for me as for you. And I want to remind us that a good plan is that today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. There's so much to do. We're not going to be perfect. We are going to bumble, as you've seen me. Absolutely. I'm happy to post the presentation. I'm wondering about the best way to do that. It might be that you all, oh gosh, I'm so happy to help. I'm going to post a new document where I'm going to ask you to add your email addresses. And that way I can send out an email blast with this slideshow for you to access on your own. And then also you'll have my email then that you can go ahead and email me with questions and requests. So I'm actually not going to take it from the chat. What I'm going to do is send you a document that you can all write it on. So if you just give me.
It's going to come up on our screen, Olga?
Yeah, I'm going to send a document to the chat. But I'm just going to create that. I do apologize for not thinking of that earlier. But, you know, yeah, better late than never.
That's right.
No, you can provide any sort of email that you have, whatever your preferred email is. I'm going to send you a link in just hopefully less than 30 seconds because our time is about to expire.
Does that mean the screen goes blank in 30 seconds?
No,
Just
no.
checking.
Yeah. No, Zoom is being very, very generous with their links. So get shareable link. I want anyone.
Should we go in the chat? Should I go in the chat so I can see the thing you're creating or no?
Yes, please go into the chat because I'm about to send this. Okay, so if you open up this spreadsheet, everyone should have edit access, and I really just want you to type in your email address in there. Great, I see some people are already on.
So if it says Zoom group chat, is that where I'm adding my email address?
No, please click the most recent link from me, and it'll open up a Google spreadsheet.
All right, the thing I have on my screen is the last slide of your presentation. So where do I go to get that?
You'll have to click over to the group chat.
All right, I clicked the group chat. Then it
Great.
says Zoom group chat.
Yeah, and now at the bottom,
Yeah.
I sent another
Oh,
link.
that link. The link. Got
Yeah,
it.
yep.
I'm really not a computer person.
No worries. No worries. I totally understand.
Oh, and just add our email address. Got it.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, great. So add your email. I will send the slideshow to your emails. Also, I can just put a link right in there that you can access. I'll put that at the top. I am going to ask you to please, if you want, we're told that you can get CTLE credits. That is true. If it won't let you edit Mr. Perrone, you can go ahead and just write your email in the chat. So I just sent out another link. If you would like CTLE credits, this last link that ends with view form, you can go ahead and fill that out.
What do those credits do for you?
I'm not a DOE person, and so
Wow.
I don't think they do anything. If you're an icon school,
All right.
Okay.
if you're an icon school, I don't think it does anything.
Okay, we are at 10:01. I know that some people have to go. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks
Great.
again.
If you put your email in the chat, I will try to add it to the spreadsheet. CTLE credits apparently don't mean anything for icon, so I do apologize.
That's what I think. That's what I think. I don't, you know.
But you have the form there in case you find out that it does matter, then you can go ahead and fill it out. And on my presentation screen are also information to follow up with me and our company Educate. We are pivoting very heavily to virtual support. We can give one-on-one support, small group support. So please contact us, contact your school leaders so they can pursue our services. I will be on the line for 10 more minutes because I don't have another session until 11. So please, if you're able to stay on and you have a quick question that might be logistical, go ahead. Otherwise, you can go ahead and write your email in the CTLE credit is in the chat. I posted it. If you have to scroll up a little, I posted it at 10:01.
And it's not letting me add my email to that spreadsheet.
Okay, you can write it in the chat for me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for today.
Best of luck. I'm here for you.
Thanks.
You email me. And
Lord
yeah,
have
best wishes.
mercy on my sweet soul. This is annoying.
Olga, you're a saver.
Oh, gosh. We're all just trying to do our best.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's put this in here.
Olga?
Yes, I'm still here.
This is me again, somebody who doesn't know computers. I have the green screen up where it says thank you and I have the email. How do I get out of this? What do I click to get out of this?
So are you on a Mac or a Windows?
No, oh dear Lord. I have a Microsoft. It must be
Microsoft.
Windows.
Beautiful.
Windows,
Okay.
Windows.
Yep. So if you hover over that screen, the black toolbar should come up.
On the bottom.
Yes, and it'll say leave meeting.
Oh, leave meeting on the bottom. Thank you so much, Olga. I appreciate it. I'm not a computer person. I'm in school. Get me in the classroom, not on the computer.
I know. It's going to be a huge learning curve, but you can do it because.
Oh no, I can. Of course I can. I'm capable. I'm all about in person. So anyway, thank you, and you have a great day.
You have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Good luck. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, I've got a couple other folks still in the room. Is there anything?
It's not letting me leave, Olga.
Okay.
I hit meeting.
You hit end meeting?
It says leave meeting. I clicked on it, and then it says do Alt and Q, Alt and uppercase Q. I did, and oh wait, leave meeting. Got it.
Okay.
Need a break. Goodbye, Olga. I'm glad I made you laugh. Bye.
Oh, bye. Oh. All right, I still got Arlene and Kwasi. Do you need anything? All right, Kwasi, I still have you on the line. Is there anything that you need? All right, well, Kwasi, you should have my email address at this point. So if there's anything that you still need, please feel free to email me. I am going to end the meeting at this time. Have a great day.